p.m. This is a meeting of the Utilities Committee of City Council. Yes. My name is Doug Tremblay. I'm chair. To my right is Mr. Clark, and to my left is Mr. Twist. We're here today to provide a recommendation concerning a professional services agreement to replace the screw sewer pumps at the wastewater treatment plant. And Jill, do you have more information about that?
I do. We went out for RFPs for replacement of our screw pumps at the wastewater treatment plant, and those are actually our influent pumps. So what that does is that our screw pumps, they lift the wastewater from the ground and they elevate it so that it can flow gravity throughout the rest of the facility. So in the 2015 budget was $160,000 for the design of these. I guess you could initially say, why did we need money for replacing in kind? Well, because the units are approaching their 15 to 20 year life, the same equipment, same models, everything isn't there anymore. Plus, there's efficiencies and upgrades in electric that we'll be looking at, and everything is part of these replacements. So the $160,000 would actually be for the design and the construction services. The company is Hazen and Sawyer. They're out of Cincinnati. And they're actually kind of not a newer engineering firm, but we historically in the last 15 years have gone with Arcadis. Malcolm Purney used to be called it Malcolm Purney. They've done nothing wrong. We just felt like we could be more cost effective with Hazen and Sawyer. And we like some of their options that they proposed pertaining to design, and if there were upgrades that we could make that we weren't anticipating. So it's not emergency legislation. Construction is then slated for 2016, and like I mentioned, we were saying that in the 160 we are able to do design and construction management services. So we won't be coming back to you in 16 to talk about construction management services. I think that's it. And this is for the wastewater treatment plant, which is out on Dye Mill Road.
And the actual screw pumps would be in a budget later on
in 2016. Yeah, okay. Construction is actually is scheduled to occur in 2016.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Lewis?
Yeah, the design plan is for all the flow of all 8 of them to be used over, because we're replacing 4 now, 4 later. The design is for all, design set up for all 8, correct? We're paying, or do we have to pay again?
Just for the original 4.
And then we pay again the same amount or close to that for the next 4 when those come up?
Yes.
And they have to be replaced within the next 5 years or so?
There you are. They're staggered. The original 4 pumps that we are proposing to replace.
Tim, would you come to the microphone?
Yeah.
They were commissioned in 1995. The useful life of these pumps is right around 20 years. In 2000, we installed 2 other pumps, and then in 2005 we installed 2 other pumps, so we can set them up on a staggered schedule for replacement.
Okay.
So the ones that we are proposing to replace right now have been installed in 1995.
95, and there's 4 of them, and that's for the redesign for those. Okay. That's it.
Mr. Clark?
Yeah, do we have any kind of warranty with these at all?
Yeah, so the standard manufacturer warranty, as well as part of our contract, is a year. It's a maintenance and guarantee bond that we require as part of our standard contract from the contractor. And then typically there's a warranty provided from the manufacturer, and that ranges anywhere from a year to 5 years. We haven't necessarily, for this specific piece of equipment, we haven't looked into that yet because we haven't really entered into design, but during design we would look at that.
And they'll do the installation, we won't do it in-house?
Correct. If you've ever been to the wastewater treatment plant, these screw pumps are, how long is each one of them?
Oh, they're big.
40 feet long and
yeah.
40 feet diameter.
So we don't even if we have to do maintenance on them, our employees are not trained and a lot could go wrong. So, we typically contract it out whenever we do have to do maintenance on these.
Okay, good. No, I don't have any other questions.
Is there any other?
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Does anyone else from council have any questions?
Yeah, just a brief question. Are we doing this because they have reached a 20-year life cycle, or have we examined the pumps and said, oh, they're beginning to fail, we need to replace them?
Both. So they're reaching the end of their 20 years. And since we rely on this solely to get our wastewater into our influent of our wastewater treatment plant so that we can provide the service to our residents, we don't want to play Russian roulette with these. So we're at the 20 years. And then also they are in the last several years, and Tim can provide more information, but they have started to provide us a lot of issues. And so, like I said before, we can't do this maintenance in-house because these items are so large. You know, we have to rent the crane, and then when we start talking about moving and the pieces and parts, and because they're at an angle, it's so difficult to kind of maneuver them that's, you know, we definitely get outside assistance with that. So both. If you want more information, though, Tim Snyder can provide it.
I'm good.
Do we,
Thank you.
excuse me, do we sell the old ones or scrap them, or do we get a trade-in, or,
They will just be scrapped.
okay, and we get scrap value for them?
Which should probably be included in the price of the contract. Because truthfully, to haul these off, it's much more economically feasible to say, Mr. Contractor, when you're done with it, you can take it.
Right.
And then it's disposed of appropriately, you know, and they can have the scrap metal prices for it.
Yeah, this is one of
So
those,
it would be included in the contract, so there wouldn't be a different, you know, refund amount, if you want to say.
this is one of those things that we don't want backing up. Thank you.
Where are the symbols today?
Anyone from staff have any questions?
Tremblay, if I may.
Yes.
Will we enter into a maintenance agreement with Hazen or anyone to do routine maintenance on that, or is that done in-house?
The routine maintenance is typically done in-house. You know, lubrication, you know, things like that.
Just, it's going to be a little tedious, but for the audience that may view this, can you explain the professional services agreement and why we're not going out to bid on this?
Yeah, so as part of the professional services agreement for engineering, we can go out and essentially we go out and we RFP. You may commonly hear that term. So it's a request for proposal. So we take qualified engineers that we already kind of have their qualifications. We go to the RFP, we send out this letter that says, please provide us a proposal if you wish to, you know, for X, Y, and Z, for the design of the screw pump. And so then we don't base that any on money, on a dollar amount. We actually base it on the qualifications included in the proposal. And so we review that, and we also look at hours. Typically, their submittal of hours to make sure that it's in line with everybody else. Like, do they understand what we're requesting, or don't they? You know, are they way off base? And we may go back to them for clarification. Then after, with this one, for example, we got four proposals. We reviewed the proposals, and then we placed the top two. Then we did interviews with the top two. And then we decided, so we may have clarified some of the questions we had in our RFP and such. And then we decide as a group, you know, who can be the best engineering firm that we feel moving forward that could get us, you know, at the lowest price, you know, essentially most efficient, knows our operation, you know, talking about proposals, maybe, you know, who submitted, if there is the opportunity for innovation or creativity, who gave us some creativity during their proposal and didn't just give us a standard boilerplate proposal. And then from that, then we come and we make our recommendation to you guys before we enter in an agreement and request that we get the funds.
Thank you.
Does that work?
Yes,
You may have said, and I apologize if I missed it, but when were you anticipating the installation, and how long is it going to take?
2016 is when it's going to be budgeted and when we're anticipating it. The length of time, I don't know.
Duration it'll be about a 2-month installation process.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
So that would also
we're
be
anticipating fall of 2016.
Fall of 2016.
September, October.
due to the weather.
Okay.
Due to typically the weather and our lowest flows at the wastewater treatment plant are the fall years.
That's what I was going to.
Except for in 2012, it was the wettest. But anyways.
The next question I had was what kind of impact does it put on the system?
Yeah, so what we do is we essentially before, you know, one of the things we would require in the contract is that the the contractor submit, their emergency operation plan, and also what we do, if it's necessary, if we feel it's necessary, and I forget exactly what we decided, but for them to have what we call a bypass pump. So if we have a pump or two down, or I should say a series or two down, that they have the capabilities of still transferring that same amount up to our wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
And so that's, actually in May of 14, we had 40 MGD coming into our facility. So as part of the design, as part of a requirement of the contractor, there's actually companies out there that do bypass pumping, Sunbelt, they do, that's their job, that's what they do. So, yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is this a requesting of emergency on
No.
this?
No.
No?
No.
No other questions?
Nope. Go forward, I move forward.
Move forward, please.
It's unanimous, we move forward with a positive recommendation.
All right. Thank you.
Is there anything to come before the Utilities Committee?
Tonight.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.